Good morning and welcome to the Peorian. I'm your host, Paul Gordon. We're at that time of year when we start thinking of warmer weather, of shedding our coats and sweaters and doing things outside. We start looking for harbingers of spring, signs that tell us spring is almost here. You know, like the first red-breasted robin landing on your fence or the buds of flowers and trees starting to show. A big year around here is when pitchers and catchers report to spring training. Always an exciting day for us fans of the St. Louis Cardinals, the world champion St. Louis Cardinals. When I was in college, the staff of the student newspaper always knew spring was near when our advisor donned a certain yellow sport coat. Another sign of spring around here is the annual official Spring Home Show, sponsored by the Home Builders Association of Greater Peoria. It's held in late February every year because what better time is there to start thinking about those spring projects around your house than now, right? And the sooner you start planning, the more ready you'll be to start those projects when the weather turns nice. The show opens this Friday and continues through Sunday at the Peoria Civic Center. My guest today is Lisa Scott, Executive Officer of the Home Builders Association of Greater Peoria, and we're going to talk about this year's home show after these messages. Welcome back to the Peorian. My guest today is Lisa Scott, the Executive Officer of the Home Builders Association of Greater Peoria. Lisa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
This year's home show opens this Friday at 4 p.m.
Right.
And it takes up the entire exhibit hall now, doesn't it?
We do. We are in all of the exhibit space at the Civic Center, including what expanded a few years ago. So we have actually the largest show in Central Illinois.
Okay, and tell us a little bit more about the schedule of the show.
Well, the show's open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Friday night, like you said, it opens at 4 and we're open until 9. That's kind of our kickoff night and kind of the time when I think families have discovered it's a great time to come down to the show. It's not as crowded as what you'll find on Saturday and Sunday. But it's a very family-oriented show. You can find anything you'd like for your home, inside or out, and kind of all in one place. No driving around town on $4 gas.
Well, what's the cost of admission?
The cost of admission is $7.
Okay.
But you can, children are free.
Okay.
And you can get coupons at CEFCU for a buy one, get one free adult. So actually, an entire family can come for just $7.
Children under what age?
18.
Oh, okay.
All children, yeah.
Wow. What does the Spring Home Show have for the average consumer?
You're going to find anything from carpet, windows, siding, gutters, roofing, you know, any of the kind of home improvement projects you want to do for your home. Mm-hmm. But you're also going to find home builders and remodelers. If you're looking to do a room addition, or if you're looking to just finally build that dream home, they're all there. And I think the great thing about the show, really the one advantage over driving around town and, you know, looking in all kinds of home improvement shops, is because you're actually going to talk to the people that can do the work on your home. These are the professionals who come out and do the work for you. It's not just someone trying to sell you an item. They are the people who are going to come out and install and stand behind their work.
The auto show, I'm going to use that as an example. At the auto show, you go in and look at the cars, but nobody tries to sell you anything at the auto show.
Right.
You can't make a deal at the
Right.
auto show. Is it different at the home show? Can you sit down with the rep and actually work out a deal?
You can, probably depending on the type of product you're
Okay.
looking at. If you're looking to build a home, you're going to need a lot more time and input and expertise. First of all, you're going to walk around the show and talk to the 10 or 12 or 15 builders who are there and try to first figure out what builder you're going to use. But then once you have that builder selected, then you're going to need to spend a lot of hours. So something like a house, you wouldn't actually, you know, be able to sit down and work out. But if you're looking to buy gutters or if you're looking to install siding, there are some real, you know, specific details you can get just by coming to the show. And then most likely those people are going to have to follow up and come out to your home for the final measurements and the final details necessary.
When you consider the entire space that the home show takes, it's surprising to hear you say 10 or 12 builders.
The home builders are actually the smaller portion of not only our show, but also of the association itself, because most of our members are the products and services that go into the homes. So we're about, even within the association, about 25% of our members are builders. or remodelers. The 75% are all the things that go into a home. And the same is true down at the show, with more of the booths being the actual products and services that you need for your home.
A person can go on your website and see what all those products are that are going to be offered.
Right, right. The show site is officialhomeshow.com that will have a lot of the times, the stage presentations, the schedules, the show hours. And then also for the Home Builders Association, we have PeoriaHBA.com. Okay. That lists builder members, and even by category. If you're looking to install a particular type of product, you can look at that category listing on our website and find a member that does that work.
Is the human contact that you're talking about also make it better than just looking it up on the internet?
You know, I think so. I think we all research online. I know I certainly do all my research online. But when you're going to make an investment in something as big as a home or a room addition or siding or even a roof, you really want to meet that person. And you learn a lot about a person sitting down face to face and finding out what their company can do. And I think you learn more than you can on paper or on the screen.
In your experience, are the people at the home show, the home builders, and the representatives of the other companies, are they themselves in this kind of a setting?
They are, and I think for many of them, it's their only opportunity. You know, a home builder doesn't generally have a retail store.
True.
You can't, drive down Knoxville and visit 4 home builders in their offices and in their stores, because that's not how they operate. They operate by working one-on-one with customers. And so this is kind of their retail outlet. This is their marketing effort to really let people meet them and find out about them, and then get them into the homes that they've built to see what they build. Everyone wants something a little different. So,
quickly, how many exhibitors will you have?
About 250 companies do the show, and that's in about 500 booths in the space itself.
Okay. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about who some of your special guests are for this year's show, including one guest who is proud to call herself a big loser. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Peorian. I'm with Lisa Scott, head of the Home Builders Association of Greater Peoria. Lisa, one of the highlights of the show every year is your special guests. Who's on board this year?
We have more going on this year probably than even in past years. So we're going to start off with kind of a special event this year, something we haven't done in the past, but a pre-show breakfast that will happen on Saturday morning before the show actually opens.
Okay.
The breakfast event will wrap up about the time that the show is opening to the public, and coming to that breakfast event also gives you a home show ticket. So it's kind of a package deal and happens beforehand. I like the idea of having it before so even our exhibitors can participate. If we can start a new tradition of having some kind of event the Saturday morning of the show, informational, inspirational, get someone in each year to talk. We'll see how it goes this year. But we have this year Allie Vincent, who was the winner of season 5 of The Biggest Loser. And Allie's journey on The Biggest Loser was very inspirational, and I know her presentation that morning is going to be a really great one.
She was the first female winner of the show.
The first female winner, and she has continued on to do talks about healthy lifestyle and changing your life and sharing her experience of how her journey changed her life. So we're very excited to have her in town.
Every time I see her on television on commercials, it's obvious that she's kept it off. She looks great.
She does look great, and she's changed a lot of people's lives now. She even has a show that she does that goes into people's homes and tries to teach them, to get them active, get them cooking the right foods, get them in the grocery store. She's really, really become a great advocate for this.
Okay. Who else?
We have Dr. Lori. Dr. Lori is an appraiser.
Not her first appearance, correct?
Not her first appearance.
Okay.
And we had so much fun with Dr. Lori last year that we just had to have her back. She is hilarious, but more importantly, she is very, very knowledgeable in appraisers. She does a Discovery Channel show called Auction Kings.
Okay.
And so you can bring an item down if you have an old family, ring, a necklace, maybe some little plate that you have from a previous generation, even just something you picked up in an auction or a sale. You can actually bring that to the show, and she will do an appraisal on it for you. And she's very, very qualified, and just her sessions are a lot of fun.
Is it just antiques or other things?
Antiques and collectibles.
Okay.
She can do a lot of different things. She can also tell you if you pick some items up at a garage sale, is it really something that's valuable, or is it something that's ready for the dumpster? So, or should you sell that item at the garage sale, or should you hang on to it?
Oh, that's a good
People
point.
can bring one item per event. She has multiple shows.
Okay.
They can bring one item per event for her to check. So each show is different because it depends on what people bring in. The only thing that people can't bring in, of course, things that are too large to carry, but the only thing we ask people not to bring in would be any antique weapons of any sort. And we did actually have a couple of those show up last year, so we have to make that point that it's probably not the right venue to bring that antique weapon. But you could certainly bring a picture of it, even just on your cell phone if you don't have a printed picture, and she could give you a pretty good idea of what it is.
Is it first come, first serve as far as?
Right, the seating for her show is set up in that way, but she can only do also so many per show, but she has multiple shows.
Okay.
So,
Back to the appearance by Allie Vincent. It's interactive, right, in that you can have breakfast with her, listen to her talk on Saturday morning, and then Sunday?
right, it's a two-part package with Allie. The breakfast is the main program that we have going on with the show. But there's a VIP package that you can upgrade to, and on Sunday then you can go to Riverplex and do a warm-up and a fitness walk with her. Okay. And so when you purchase your tickets, it's a two-part thing. You can purchase for just Saturday for the breakfast that includes your home show ticket, or you can upgrade it to the VIP event, which includes Sunday.
Okay. We're going to take a break now for messages from our sponsors. But first, here is the Peorian's own Kevin Kaiser to talk about what's going on in the literary and culinary world.
Hey, it's Kevin here, and time for you to find out what's going on in my little world, lucky people. First off, as the literary guy around here, people ask me, Kevin, what's the question you hear most often? The answer is, how did you get in here? Well, inevitably they say that's off-putting, but what's the question you hear second most often? Without a doubt, that's, Kevin, what should I read? Normally I don't name books, but authors. So here are some of my favorite authors, and to make things easier, I'll stick to 4 fiction writers from the Midwest. First off, David Foster Wallace, who was raised in Urbana, Illinois, and taught in the English department at Illinois State from 1992 to 2002. There's a lot of Wallace to choose from. The Broom of the System, The Girl with Curious Hair, Consider the Lobster, and a supposedly fun thing I'll never do again. A book of essays which includes, among other things, Wallace's take on the vulgarities and excesses of the Illinois State Fair. Wallace died in 2008, and his posthumous novel, The Pale King, was published last year. Second is Saul Bellow, who died in 2005. Bellow is the Nobel Prize-winning author of such books as Humboldt's Gift, Herzog, and my favorite, The Adventures of Augie March. Bellow moved to Chicago when he was 9, and similar to Wallace, returned to the city as an adult. Growing up, Bellow referred to himself as a slum kid, and much of his work involves characters who try to transcend their frailties and weaknesses. Writers like Martin Amis and the late Christopher Hitchens often cited Bellow as the greatest American author of their time. Third is Kurt Vonnegut, a good old Indiana boy, who passed on in 2007. Vonnegut was born in Indianapolis and served in World War II, moved to Chicago afterwards and studied there. His novel Slaughterhouse-Five is a satirical look at his experiences in the war in which he was captured by the Germans and held as a POW in Dresden. What most people don't realize is Slaughterhouse-Five is the shortened version of the title. The complete title is Slaughterhouse-Five, or The Children's Crusade, A Duty Dance with Death by Kurt Vonnegut, a fourth-generation German-American now living in easy circumstances on Cape Cod and smoking too much, who, as an American infantry scout hors de combat as a prisoner of war, witnessed the firebombing of Dresden, Germany, the Florence of the Elbe a long time ago and survived to tell the tale. This is a novel somewhat in the telegraphic schizophrenic manner of Tales of the Planet Tralfamadore, where the flying saucers come from. Peace. Whew. And last but certainly not least, Hunter S. Thompson from Louisville, Kentucky. Thompson, who died in 2005, is certainly well known in pop culture thanks to films based on his novels. Fueled by literary desire and the choicest intoxicants, Thompson turned out one of the greatest pieces of modern political writing with Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72, and an amazing inside look in the Hells Angels, who allowed the writer to ride and live with them for a year, something unprecedented at the time. So there you have it, 4 Midwestern authors I would recommend to anyone and everyone. Now get out there and read, and see you next week.
We're back, and we're talking about the official Spring Home Show, which is all next weekend at the Peoria Civic Center. Lisa Scott of the Home Builders Association of Greater Peoria is my guest. Lisa, several years ago, people couldn't believe it when Homeway Homes built a house, a full-sized house, inside the exhibit hall so that people could tour it during the show. Now it's become a staple of the show, correct?
It is. I think people would be disappointed now if we
Yeah.
didn't have a house. And it was quite the feat that first year, and it's quite the feat every year. We've had houses in there that are ranch plans, but we've also had 2 stories that were just a matter of inches from the rafters of the Civic Center. It's just really quite a thing to go in there and see that house on the show floor.
And it's still a popular exhibit.
It is, very definitely. It always amazes me. I keep thinking at some point, will the public want something else other than the show house? But they come back year after year and stand in line to go through it and marvel that it's built inside.
How do they do it?
It takes a lot of man hours. They start actually several days before, and it's like a little army of ants swarming around that house for several days while we're setting up the rest of the show, but even before.
Is it something about it being a Homeway home house that enables them to do it quickly?
Well, because it's modular construction.
Is that what it is?
It comes into the center, comes into the Civic Center in sections, but a lot of work still has to be done down there as far as drywalling, painting, putting in some flooring, putting on all of the finishing touches, even some siding. A lot of it gets done at the show, about 1,000 man hours, I think, in 4 or 5 days.
And then they take it down?
And then a lot of times it's already sold or going out to their sales center to be a new model, so they take it down and put it back up somewhere else.
So the house that they build in the Civic Center is one that can be purchased?
Right.
And the plan can be purchased?
Right. Sometimes the house is pre-sold that's in the show already. Sometimes the house is still for sale. But if it's pre-sold and you like the plan, they'll build one just like it for you on your lot.
It'd be kind of weird to walk into your house, the house you bought, and it's up in the Civic Center.
And that is something that I've witnessed a few times.
Really?
When the people come in. They maybe come in a little bit before the show opens, and it's so fun to watch them walk through their house and think about it, really being their house, but why is it right there in the Civic Center? It's really fun.
When the economy's down, Lisa, how important is this type of show to not only consumers, but to the contractors?
It really is important, and it's in a time where people are improving and remodeling their homes. If they're hesitant for whatever to build right now, whatever reason, they are still improving and remodeling their homes. So you'll find the people who know that it's a wonderful time to build. This is actually a great time to build. It's a great time to get a home mortgage. There are just a lot of things that are really making this a great time to build. But if you're not ready, or if you're fearful of selling that existing home, maybe now's the time to fix it up and get ready for the market when you're ready to sell it.
Crystal ball time. I'm going to go away from the home show a little bit.
Okay.
What is the outlook for 2012 for home builders and remodelers?
I think the members of our association are more optimistic than I've seen them in the last couple of years because remodeling has stayed up. People are redoing their kitchens and their bathrooms and putting on those room additions. And so our members are still busy. But I think that overall, even our new home construction builders are more optimistic than I've seen them in years, that things are finally going to get back to what we would consider to be a little more normal in this area for new home construction. Permits have definitely been down. There's no question about that. But we have been protected also in this market. You don't have to travel too far. To maybe travel 3 or 4 hours to some of the surrounding metropolitan areas that are much larger than ours and talk to builders there that haven't built a new home in years. And our builders are all still building at a slower pace than in the past, but they are still building.
Is there any one area over another in the Peoria region that is seeing activity? more activity?
Well,
than
there are
others?
pockets. I mean, certainly the Dunlap area has seen a lot of new construction over the years, as has Washington and Morton, and the pockets around the area. And some municipalities have more restrictive codes and regulations that sometimes can even make it more expensive to build there. So a lot for a homeowner to consider.
Okay. Lisa, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching us. And remember that our conversation continues on thepeorian.com, where you can watch this episode along with past episodes in their entirety. And then join us here on WHOI next Sunday at 8 a.m. for another episode of The Peorian. Have a good week.
Música